Well, guys, I got a package from Victoria, Australia with a couple of challenge locks in it. This is from McScotty, and it is a Lockwood, and he scraped off a bunch of numbers because he says this lock is still in use. We do have a key, and has a really paracentric, very challenging looking keyway there. Well, before we get to that, he also sent a whole bunch of love. Oh yeah, all chocolate. And I thought it was kind of interesting to look at these because there is a difference between Australian and English. This is a echidna, which is really nothing more than a porcupine. It's interesting they have a different word for it. And this is a puppy dog, and they call them dingoes. He's a sweet-looking thing, isn't he? This is, well, you know, I knew there was such thing as a bandicoot because I often call my brother-in-law a bandicoot in kind of a derogatory way. But I guess this is what a real bandicoot looks like a mouse that got his nose smashed or caught in a drawer or something. And of course a kangaroo. That's really what I expected to see on all of these. That is not a possum. That is a mouse it's a night mouse with big eyes. This is an alligator. They call them platypuses there. And he got his nose run over by a Jeep. Koala, I've seen those in the zoo. And when I was a little kid, I used to have a koala teddy bear. No idea. This is a squirrel that got his face caught in a fan belt. And this is a bear. And they call them Tasmanian devils. Pretty interesting. I'm sure the chocolate inside is exactly what we'd expect, but this language barrier is killing me. Anyway, this Lockwood. Let me get it clamped up. Let's see if we can't figure out how to get into this thing. All right, guys, it's clamped up. This is actually my second try on this thing. The key's still here in the back, wired up, just like it was. The first 10 minutes, the first 10-minute attempt was really trying to figure out how to tension it because of it really is an awkward keyway. Somebody, I think the designer, that really put a lot of thought into it. I tried top of the keyway and that wasn't working out too good. And then I tried bottom of the keyway, going clockwise. I stuck them in like that, but that bottom piece of warding there is at the perfect point to cause it to lever into the bottom, into the body, which kind of causes a core to seize. So you're forced to use bottom of the keyway, and you're forced to pick it counterclockwise. So if you need to pick it clockwise, you're going to have to pick it counterclockwise and then use a spinner, I guess, if you encounter this in the field. There is a lot of flop. I did put a mark on it in my first attempt. So I've got a feeling we got some alien tech in here. I'm going to go ahead and turn him, and we'll try it like this time. The other part of the difficulty was finding a pick. I had hoped to be able to pick from the bottom, but now with the tensioner there, it's not going to work. Now I've got to pick up at an angle, and even with my 13 thousandths, I can reach about the first 2 pins, and then the pick gets pinched as it gets further back into the keyway. It often seems to get stuck. So enough talking. I just wanted to let you know what I'd already learned during my first 10-minute failure. All right, I'm going to slide all the way in. A little light tension. And let's see if we can't fumble through this again. This time, hopefully, with it open. It is very picky. You have to. I can tell there are a lot of serrations in here. And there's my pick stuck. I'm almost forced to find that last pin first, and he's like got no tension on him, on the core. He's the only binder, though. I think I got him. Okay, that was pin 1. And now, I feel like pin 4 was all the way stuck on the bottom. I'm going to have to try something else. I'm going to try this guy. 15,000, but he got less of a hook on him, and I'm hoping... There, he gets under that pin, so there we go. I got it. That was pin 6. And I don't know if you saw it, but we've got a little bit of fault set going. And now I've got a feeling I can't get high enough with this hook. So if I can get him out, we're going to go back to this guy. I'm getting nothing. I'm going to lighten up my tension even more. I'm probably going to force something in the back there. And I'm guessing, I mean, if I were making a challenge lock, I would put those high cut ones in the back. But that number 6 now seems to be springy. All right, I got one that's stuck on the very bottom. Feels like number 3. I'm going to force him. Maybe. There we go. Lost my false set. Excellent. Get in there. All right, I'm getting desperate at this point. I mean, everything is floating free. There we go. But that's going up the warding. I'm not really pushing a pin, but that's how much pressure I have to get on the pick to get it past that warding in the back. Up in the front, it's fairly free. All right, that was pin 1, and that might have been a mistake. Did I break my pick? No. I got super light tension. Now I'm just bouncing on the pins, hoping that I'm going to bounce the right one in place. And I may or may not get a false set. I really don't know how this is pinned up. All right, I'm going to release tension. Let's try this again. I'm going to start from the front this time. Pin 2 is really bound up. I mean, he's not going anywhere. But he almost has to. Now he's floating free. What the heck? Get in there. All right, I'm going to use heavy tension, and I'm going to try to bully it a little bit. All right, when it's got heavy tension, there definitely are serrations in this thing. It totally binds up. Pin 3, I got moderate tension, and I am guessing that was pin 3 again. That's the warding. Man, we're at 6.5 minutes. I don't even have a false set. This is terrible. Okay, I just forced pin 1 a little higher. I just forced pin 2. I'm really... Okay, there's a good false set. Now we're on the right track. I'm tempted to keep heavy tension because that's worked so well for me, but I've got a feeling when we're pinched like this, it's just not going to work. I'm going to lighten up on the tension. I'm assuming we're caught on a T-pin at this point somewhere. So let's see if I can baby him. Find him and baby him. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to exchange this hook for this one, a little deeper, well, heck, a lot deeper, on the off chance that it's a very, very high cut T-pin. See if I can even get him in there. I can't get him past 4. Looking for counter rotation because it could be a spool. Okay. I need to get him into the very back. Get in there. There we go. Now he's pinched. Come on out of there. Yep, he's not doing me any good. He's pinched. All right. I'm going to take a terrible chance. I really hesitate to put this inside of there. My rat yoke pick, because I can't afford to replace it, but he's the only one I have that might have enough rise to get in the back. All right, I think that is counter rotation. Nope, that's just... Oh yeah, it is. There it is right there. There is counter rotation. I was going to say I'm bouncing against a tension wrench, but I believe this counter rotation on 5. I'm about to break the peg. Come on. Go home. Get up there. There we go. Now we lost a false set. What are we at? 9:15, eh? I'm going to hustle it up. I got 45 seconds to get this guy. Where are you? There's a false setback. And here we go. What are we at? 9:53. Yes! Well, you count the other failures. So, all right, here we go. Let me back this out. So it'll be a total of 19, figured call it 20 minutes to get into this guy. Let's go ahead and cut the key off. You can see it is picked. Tailpiece. There we go. So we're not stuck in a super deep fault set. Let me go ahead and cut that off. And let's find out what kind of weirdness. It's probably a wombat fingernail or two. Or maybe a platypus tooth. All right, we need a Phillips. And we need a tray. We're up to the Jeep tray. All right. Let me see. I want to show something real quick. I think I put his name on the back. I get so many questions about this. If you are interested, there's the guy that made this for me. So if you got Twitter, or maybe you can find him and get him to make you one. Because I certainly don't make them, guys. I'm sorry. I wish I had this artistic gift. More than skill, but artistic gift. Let's take a look at this key. Let's move that off to the side. And let me put this guy away so he doesn't get destroyed in the process. You know, that's not bad at all. I mean, we got some really high cut ones back here, which explains why I had to take a chance with my rat yoke pick. So a couple of really low cut ones here. And those guys in the back were just hiding behind them. But, make sure the lock, it must work because I got it picked. There we go. Okay, it's a little snaggy, but it does work. And obviously I got it picked, so let's call it good. I'm going to turn this sideways. And I'm going to listen to you guys. A lot of you guys left comments about, use a shim. Shim is your friend. And you're right. I often forget, and particularly with this one, since I'm pretty sure there are some T-pins in here. Get in there. If we can get it in. Come on. Guys, he's not going. Nope. There is something really snagging up in there. All right, well, that's about as good as I can do. Let's take a chance. Everything lined up. And push it back, Bill. Let's try another one. Let's try this guy. Yeah, he's not working so good. There's something snagging for sure. Okay, it was the shim. It's so tight that shim was causing it to snag. Isn't that? That's precision. Okay, get that out of here. Get that out of here. Put him right there. And let's see what we got. All right, chamber 3 is obviously much larger diameter than the rest of them, and it looks like pin number 5 there, smaller diameter. He's kind of flopping around inside of there, but let's go ahead and pull all this stuff out of here. And take a look. I can already see some awesomeness in there. Okay, we have serrated. We have standard steel pin. We have serrated. Actually, that's more of a spool than a serrated. We have a standard, but we got a. I'm going to have to set this core down here to get it to focus for us. It has a hole in the top of him, so I think I know what we're going to find in chamber 4. Number 5 is a baby torpedo. And number 6 is 2 serrations. Yeah. All right, we have some undercutting in chamber 3, some countermilling, and in some very rough threading in chamber number 4. It looks like perhaps McScotty used a slightly oversized tap to tap that hole, but it kind of worked in his favor, obviously. Made it flop around in there a lot more. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, we've serrated. Chamber 2 is not doing anything. Didn't pop up. I can just see the reflection of a pin down there. And he looks like he's just sitting in the bottom. I'm going to dump him. Let's see if I can dump him in an organized way so we can kind of see the way he's oriented. Come out of there. Nope, he's not coming. He's stuck there. I don't know what to tell you guys. Let me give him a little bang job here. There he is right there. Oh, it's a spool. And there is a baby spring, but I got to tell you, if there was a spring in there, and that spool was stuck, that means I was only manipulating this pin. So he probably, thank goodness, didn't even enter into the formula because he was stuck in the upper chamber. All right, we're going to need that. Let's take a look at number 3. It is homemade, little spool. And looks like a steel pin, or steel spring. Number 4. Very light spring. He's just barely breaking the shear line back there. Let me grab the flashlight. You can see him just barely breaking the shear line, and he's got a cut on him, telling you he's serrated, or maybe even a spool. Let's pull him out, take a look. Oh yeah, homemade. Very nice. And number 4 was threaded. Number 3 was the one with the undercut. So number 3 would have grabbed the cut here or the cut on the driver pin as well. Okay, let's flip them around and get number 6. So pretty well thought out. Yeah, there's something on the back here that I'm thinking that this is on the front. It's probably perfectly round, but for some reason on the back here, it looks like it's a little bit smashed because there's a little ding, it looks like, right there that's stopping this guy. Yeah, he's not going, guys. He's not coming through there. So we're going to have to go from the front and get 5 and 6 out. 3, 4, 5, strong spring pressure, and this is the way he came out, with the thick part pointed down towards the key pin, which I would have thought it would be the other way around, but that's how he was. I'm thinking there's lube in here too, grabbing these springs, but I'm not seeing any residual. All right, the last one. It's like working in a down a snake hole. I expect a baby wombat to come out of there. All right, here we go. I'm going to pull them out. I had to smash them against the side. I saw that little pin sticking up. Okay, I'm going to just set this down before I drop everything. We have an active element here. So it's a 2-piece pin, so there's got to be more. There's got to be another, probably a wafer back there as well. Come out, come out. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. Yeah, so there's a wafer right there to keep that little steel, that little center rod, he's not steel, from falling down inside of the spring. So I'm just going to dump him, and there's the spring came out with him. And somebody went to the trouble here, if you look at this pin, to keep alignment. Check that out. He even made a little groove to make sure that that little steel rod stayed centered in there. How cool is that? That's attention to detail. All right, let's look inside of here real quick with a flashlight. I don't have to take all this tape and everything. I don't see, I mean, I know it's threaded because you can kind of see some plugs through the top, but apparently he only threaded enough to put these plugs in and then cover them with tape, because inside of here, I see nothing. There's no threads, no countermilling, no kind of craziness in there. Anyway, guys, there you go. All the way from Victoria, Australia. McScotty, thank you, sir. Appreciate the lock. Everybody stay safe. Let's take a look at these springs, and we're going to stay legal. We are missing one spring, right? Number 4. There he is. I just looked up and saw that. All right, let me line these up a little bit here. That one's going to be hard to fit on the tray. And there is what we're looking at. Oh, I bumped one. Chamber number 1. All right, chamber number 1 had no serrations, but we got serrations on all the pins. Number 2, if you look at the core, nothing in it either. Number 3 is undercut, so you have plenty of things here to grab those 2 undercuts, or the undercut on the core, rather, on both of these pins. This guy here was threaded, so we have plenty of stuff here to grab those very coarse threads. And the rest of these, I would have put him in there like that, but that's the way he popped out. And the last one, the trick pin, we had this little pin and pin fitting up through this, and then there's a little groove in that wafer to keep him perfectly aligned. Let's take a look in there. No hole there. Anyway, guys, there you go. McScotty, appreciate it. Stay safe, guys. Stay legal.